Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I recognize both the great value that UAV and drone technology have for law enforcement, and I can imagine innumerable productive and important uses, as well as the risks that drug cartels and others are using drones for their own nefarious purposes. But Mr. Willoughby, I want to ask you about a different kind of concern, and that is we saw drones being used by DHS over Los Angeles during protests. And my understanding is that DHS policy requires that there be privacy protections when drones are used and may capture people engaged in First Amendment protected activity, among other things. And that drone footage is not allowed to be released without a law enforcement purpose or some other legitimate, analyzed, and approved function. Nonetheless, drone footage that was captured over Los Angeles was published by the agency. Why was it published? Who made that decision? And how is that consistent with DHS policy that is supposed to protect the privacy of those that are caught by drone footage?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. I'm not familiar with the use of drones for the positive law enforcement uses. My portfolio is strictly on countering the drone threats here in the homeland, but I can circle back and get you an answer to those questions with your permission.
Yes, if you would, I would appreciate that. As I said, I can more than understand the legitimate law enforcement purposes, but also deeply concerned about privacy interests and chilling First Amendment protected speech. As this technology proliferates, we're going to have to make sure that we protect those vital interests of the American people. Let me ask you about a different issue then, and I'll open this up to the whole panel. We've repeatedly seen, as we've battled wildfires in California, that spectators using drones have interfered with the firefighting efforts. There have been collisions with aircraft. There have been other times where aircraft had to be brought out of the fight until they could disable a drone or find its owner or whatnot. How recurrent is that particular challenge? What is the state of the technology to be able to disable a drone in flight or to identify where the user of the drone may be?
Maybe I'll start and then turn it over to my colleagues afterwards. The use of drones in these emergency response areas, whether it's firefighting or disaster relief or search and rescue, is prolific. And nearly every national incident that we hear about, most in the recent past, there have been unauthorized drones flying into space, interrupting authorized manned or unmanned operations. And for the most part, out of a abundance of caution, those manned operations are halted when there's an unauthorized drone detected in the area, which can severely debilitate our ability to respond in a timely fashion. And the ability to stop or prevent a drone from going somewhere is really restricted by the current authority that we have that's limited to just certain federal entities. And unless one of those entities is there providing a counter-UAS protection mission, we would not be able to stop an unauthorized drone from proceeding into a restricted area, even if there was a flight restriction in place, which is often the case during these emergency responses. But I'll pause to see if my colleagues have anything else.
That's an excellent point, Senator, and I think it illustrates the need to expand these authorities to state and locals. I'll give you an example. In the Los Angeles field office has developed over many years a robust relationship with the LA County Fire, LA County Sheriff, LAPD with regard to protection of wildfire areas from drones. But there, as you know, can be multiple wildfires in the greater Los Angeles area at any given time. And as we stated, the FBI cannot be everywhere. So the time is now for these agencies to get these authorities to protect wildfires and other public safety events.
And if you could speak to the sort of the state of the art in terms of geo-fencing of drones, how capable is that of dealing with commercially available drones?
If you're referring to the geofencing on the drones themselves from the pilots, that is no longer really an applicable technology. Previously, some of the drone manufacturers did have some attempt to prevent people from flying into areas they shouldn't, and that has changed quite dramatically in the past 9 months. As far as our capabilities, we do have effective technologies, but there is no silver bullet in counter UAS.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was supposed to adjourn, but I'm happy to turn it back over to Senator Cruz.
During a Senate hearing, Senator Adam Schiff, Democrat, California, pressed the Department of Homeland Security on its use of drones during protests in Los Angeles. Addressing Steven Willoughby, the Deputy Director for DHS's counter-UAS program, Schiff raised concerns over why drone footage of anti-ICE protesters had been released to the public. He pointed out that DHS policy requires privacy protections when drones capture images of people engaged in First Amendment activities, and that footage should only be released for clear law enforcement purposes after proper approval. Schiff asked who authorized the release and how such a decision could align with DHS's stated privacy rules. Willoughby acknowledged the question but said his portfolio deals only with countering drone threats, not their positive law enforcement uses, and promised to provide follow-up details. Schiff reiterated that while he understood drones have legitimate law enforcement benefits, the release of protest footage raised serious privacy concerns and the risk of chilling free speech. Shifting topics, Schiff asked the panel about drones interfering with wildfire response efforts in California. Officials explained that unauthorized drones frequently disrupt firefighting missions, at times colliding with aircraft or forcing fire crews to ground planes until the drones are cleared. They noted that current counter-drone authority is limited to certain federal agencies, leaving state and local responders unable to act quickly even when flight restrictions are in place. FBI representatives stressed the need to expand those authorities to state and local partners, given the scale and frequency of wildfires in places like Los Angeles County. The discussion also touched on technological measures such as geo-fencing, which was once included by drone manufacturers to prevent flights in restricted areas. Officials explained that many manufacturers have since weakened or removed these features, making them unreliable. While some counter-drone tools exist, the panel emphasized that no single solution can fully prevent unauthorized drones from interfering with emergency operations. Schiff closed by warning that as drone technology becomes more common, lawmakers will need to ensure both public safety and the protection of civil liberties.